In this bulletin, Suva suburb goes into lockdown. New health restrictions in place for Vitilevu. And ministry yet to identify virus variant. Yanrapinaka, Fiji. The Ministry of Health has commended the family in Wainitarawau settlement in Cunningham, who came forward to inform the ministry that they attended the funeral in Tabakumbu Lutoka over the weekend. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says the family came forward after the announcement on Tuesday. He says the funeral is now the epicenter of locally transmitted cases and they are treating it as a super spreader.
A 40-year-old woman of Wainitarau settlement in Cunningham, Suva, has tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the total number of cases to 4 now.
She lives at home with 6 others, her husband and 5 children. She and all members of her household are all securely in isolation in Navua Hospital. Her family members have all tested negative for the virus so far.
Dr. Fong says they activated a screening zone in the settlement.
The rules for the zone are simple. No one is allowed out. Those who live in this area are being allowed back in, but they must stay there. We are screening every Fijian in that zone and will keep that area contained for at least 14 days.
Dr. Fong says this is not the only family who came forward after the announcement yesterday. They have also identified the drivers of the minibus and the taxi driver whom the ministry had been searching for. He says these drivers are now in quarantine. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
There is no confirmation yet on whether locally transmitted cases of COVID-19 are a new variant. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong says this information will be confirmed in due time.
With one new case emerging daily this week, the Health Ministry is waiting to see which variant we are dealing with.
Whether this is a new or more contagious variant of the virus, but we should act as if it is a contagious variant. As I said yesterday, we have to start treating everyone outside our household as if they are positive for the virus until it is proven otherwise.
Around the world, new variants have emerged, including India, where many travelers are arriving from. Head of Health Protection, Dr. Alisha Saukhan, says samples are being sent to Australia for testing and results should be available in about 2 weeks.
So in order to determine which variant this virus is, we have to send our samples to our reference lab in Melbourne, Australia. So we would expect that it will go out this week, and then we should receive a result within the next week or 2.
As of now, there are 4 cases of community transmissions in Fiji.
New health restrictions have been announced for Vitilevu and other parts of the country. Permanent Secretary Dr. James Fong says from today, only funeral gatherings will be allowed, but it should be limited to only 20 people. Nationwide non-work social gatherings will be restricted from today for at least the next 14 days.
Non-work gatherings of any size cannot take place anywhere. That includes religious services, weddings, and other events. This gathering restriction applies nationwide.
Dr. Fong says gyms, movie theaters, video gaming shops, bars or amusement arcades must be closed and restaurants must not offer in-person dining. This is only be applied within Vitilevu.
If someone does not have a smartphone, their contact tracing details must be recorded every day. Customer-facing businesses should limit customer capacity to 50%. Businesses that do not manage these risks with COVID-safe plans will be shut down. The virus is here. We cannot afford to turn a crowded market into the next center of an epicenter.
He says all supermarkets, banks, pharmacies, FNPF and other essential service providers will continue and must limit the number of customers to at least 50% and customers must maintain 2 meters distance. Jose Yanunga, FBC News. The Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission has started market surveillance on food and medicine, as well as monitoring the market situation in the Western Division. Chief Executive Joel Abraham is urging traders to keep products available as the Commission works with importers, wholesalers and retailers to get products onto shelves quickly. Abraham has revealed there have been some spikes in the price of face masks. He has reminded traders not to engage in unscrupulous activities and unfairly raise the prices of essential products.
Some pharmacies that have spiked or raised the prices of face masks as high as close to $100 a box. These pharmacies have been put under active investigation. Our teams are out not only in the Central Division but in the Western and Northern Division. We are going to supermarkets and pharmacies.
Women's Minister Merseni Buniwanga says Fiji is far from achieving gender equality despite taking stride steps. Speaking during the Gender and Non-Violence Training for Men and Boys, Buniwanga says climate change, gender pay gaps, gender-based violence and exploitation and other issues continue to become barricades. Buniwanga says this was also worsened by the impacts of COVID-19 in the country. Some Australians are turning down the AstraZeneca vaccine over concerns about its safety. One doctor says 19 out of 20 of her patients have refused to receive it. Up ahead, FNRL uncovers new talents. And Rewa wary of upcoming matches. Stay with us. Welcome back. Some young players will be introduced to the Fiji National Rugby League development pathway. FNRL is amazed with the new talent uncovered at the Fiji Secondary Schools competition this year. However, as Aquila Dhama reports, a junior Mbati tour this year looks highly unlikely.
The FSSRL had plans to have a schoolboys tour after every 2 years.
And this year had been earmarked for the tour. There's still plans in the background and we're currently discussing on whether or not we still can have that tour this year given it's a World Cup year.
The FNRL had not ruled out the possibility of having an overseas team come over.
If there is an appetite for an overseas team touring into Fiji, that tour is currently just plans at the moment.
Giving these exciting players some recognition after a grueling season will be quite a reward.
And if you look at our KB6, I think the oldest players in our KB6 is about 26 or 27 years old. The rest are all 2019. So I think that's the right way for us to go to because a lot of NRL players are like they want young players.
The more players that can be identified and introduced to the professional rugby league system, the better for FNRL as they'll have a bigger pool of players to select from in the 2025 World Cup. Aquila Dhama, FBC Sports.
Parental support has been the driving factor for the National 7 squad member Sireli Mangala. Mangala joined the squad last year hoping to one day don the national colors in the international arena. Mangala says his rugby journey is rooted in his parents' support.
They both way back in lower level, and for me, everything I've asked them to prepare for me, they always prepare. Ask them to come and watch me during my games. They always come right from Bunati.
The Rewa rugby side will be treating the remainder of all their matches in the Skipper Cup competition as a must-win. Rewa put up a good fight against Nani but lost 25-15 in round 1 and last week were edged by defending champions Suba 24-17. Head coach Alfretin Dobibarata says they will need to remain consistent in how they do things on the field.
We just need to be consistent in the way we do things, especially in our attack, trying to maintain, keep the possession, maintain possession and go for the tries.
The parents of the Ngau Secondary School students are dismayed with the cancellation of the Kokula Games. Most maritime schools had already traveled to the city, but with the games now cancelled, they are stuck in Suva, which is becoming costly. Venina Rakautonga reports.
Weeks of budgeting and planning has now gone to waste for these parents.
We had arrived last week and this is all to support our kids. Money has been put aside for this. sacrifices made just to be here for our kids.
Despite the challenges faced, Ngau Secondary School is determined to return when the new dates for the Coca-Cola Games is confirmed.
As much as we want to be upset and not send our kids to the Coca-Cola Games, we know that this is an opportunity for our children to not only compete but come out from the islands to enjoy the city, and compete is something big. We will do it for them.
Teacher Waisiama Taitonga says around $5,000 was used for logistics.
We have used a lot in bringing the athletes to Suva. However, we receive a lot of help from the Ngau community in Fiji and abroad, which is funding for us during our extra 1 week stay. We are just budgeting now.
The school is expected to leave next Monday if everything goes according to plan. Other maritime school students are also hoping to leave within a week. Penina Rakautonga, FBC Sports.
Rain is likely around us today, which will be a bit of a hassle for those with plans. The entire country will see showers. That's FBC Morning News. Join us at 7 p.m. for our major bulletin. For news you can trust, get the facts from FBC's TV, radio and digital news at fbcnews.com.fj. Take care and good morning.